Good evening and welcome to episode 1 of the 2026 PMLC Global Nexus podcast. As we step into a new year, we're all navigating environments marked by rapid change, complexity, as well as uncertainty. Many organizations have strong strategies and well developed plans, but when it comes to what stands in the way of execution, we're looking at how to turn intention into action and vision into results. Today with me, I have my co-host, Dr. Jimmy Goddard, and we're all wishing you a happy new year. Happy new year to you, Dr. Jimmy. Welcome.
Happy New Year, Dr. Susie. Happy New Year to everybody who's listening. We are ready. 2026, here we come.
Here we come. Here we are. Here we are, 2026. We are live in 2026. I hope you all had a wonderful grand entrance to 2026 as you're back here to join us live in this session this evening with us. And we're so happy to see you cross over into this year and do many wonderful, great things, especially within project management and project management office spaces. Right, Dr. Jimmy?
Yes, you bet. Project leaders and change makers, we are very excited to bring to you in 2026 very hot, relevant day-to-day topics. This is going to be very hands-on. We're bringing strategy to execution, and this time we are going to show you. We are going to be doing things. So be excited. I'm excited. So keep joining us so that you can see what we have in store for you.
Yeah, I'm excited as well, Dr. Jimmy. And for today's session, we're actually going to be talking about people and uncertainty, making the pathway clear by shifting from planning to doing. So this is a really hot topic for us, and we're looking at how to go about exactly doing that. Looking at how leaders, project managers, organizations, how we can create clarity through action, empowering people to move forward with confidence, as well as building momentum, even when all the answers are not yet clear. So as we look forward to sharing the insights and practical perspectives and the tools that will help people move from planning to doing, we are really excited about how 2026 will become a year that we can shape and define, not just by strategy, but by meaningful execution and impact. Right, Dr. Jimmy?
Yes, you mentioned some keywords here, Dr. Susie. We're talking about people. We're talking about uncertainty. We're talking about strategies. We're talking about impact. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. By now, many of you know this reality. It's the VUCA world. It's volatile, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Don't take my word for it. You have the elephant in the room, the word that we talked about all last year that I was reluctant to keep saying, but now guess what? I'm on board. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. It's AI. It is AI. So as project managers, project leaders, as organization leaders, you are thinking about getting your project management office together. You're talking about putting people together to get work done. Oftentimes, Dr. Susie, what I've discovered is we are stuck. We are analyzing things. We fall into what we call the analysis paralysis, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I've done organizations that do planning projects for planning. So they have a projects to plan on how they're gonna do planning. So we have to break those things down on how to stop over planning and start delivering value. Drive, you know, the question we should ask ourselves is, what have you done today? Let's get to it.
That's absolutely correct. And even as we look at that, we're going to be taking a look today at how and why uncertainty actually breaks execution before it breaks the strategy. Some of those things that you mentioned, but also understanding how uncertainty is not a planning failure. It's an execution challenge that organizations will need to take a closer look at. Understanding how and why teams may stall, not because they lack the plans, but because roles, decisions, the rights, and even next actions are really unclear. So we have some really exciting and interesting ways in how we can make that clear by utilizing different forms and tools within the arena of AI to help to bring real clarity when we move forward from theoretical alignment to visibility within the organization, and how we can actually make those actions more accountable within teams. As we shift into this, Dr. Jimmy, you were talking about some of the AIs, and one of the terms specifically that I want to focus on today is agentic AI, the agentic AI agents. I think that's going to be so exciting as well. And I know that this is kind of like somewhere around the realm of your specialty and area topics of interest. So this is going to be a really, really exciting topic for you, I know, and you're going to be diving in feet first, head first, just everything first about AI. You can throw your whole body in there, you probably will first, because this is such an exciting topic. So when we look at how to go from planning to doing, and we're discussing the role of agentic AI in modern execution, especially within organizations, our project management space, the PMO space, agentic AI becomes a force multiplier by reducing friction between strategy and action. So how we automate the routine planning tasks, the accelerating decision making, how we enable teams to focus on execution, judgment, outcomes. AI doesn't replace the leadership. It doesn't replace the people, within those roles per se, but it actually empowers the leaders and PMOs to move a little bit faster, smarter, as well as with greater confidence and in uncertain environments. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I completely agree with that. The reality is we are many of us in the project management world and the leadership role in the leadership world, we are facing this heads on. We love our 5-year roadmaps. We love our Gantt charts, but the reality is we spent months building those plans, but the time for us to execute, the business environment has changed. And we're talking about agentic AI. Agentic AI brings to the table, I will tell you something that we've never seen before.
Mhm.
What would probably could take me days to come up with, talk to folks here and there to come up with a plan. And I believe that's what the whole value of agentic AI does, and which we hope to demonstrate in the subsequent podcast that we're having.
Mhm.
The time it will take me to create a PMO roadmap, to explore strategic intent of my projects, of the organization, there is there's so much valuable time that comes in, and everybody loves visuals. These days I can take all my plans, I can create an agent, and I can have the agent transform my plans for me. Now, if you're a project manager, there's the tool from the Project Management Institute that you can use to help you develop your plans. Many of you, go ahead.
PMI Infinity? Is that
Yeah,
what
PMI Infinity, exactly. There's you have videos now with. By the way, I'm going to call some product names. This is not endorsement. This is not advertisement. However, those products are very common. So we have Microsoft Copilot Studio, we have ChatGPT, we have Claude, and also we have Gemini. Those are the main that many organizations are using today. Does not mean other AI tools such as Perplexity, Grok, Manus, you name all of those are not that relevant. And all the tools that I just mentioned have agentic AI capabilities. What does that mean? As a project manager, you can create an agency prompt to really get help in terms of a plan that you're putting together. You can even take that plan and transform it into a video, let alone a graph, so that you can see that plan into action. This is revolutionary. Pictures worth thousands words. Why spend the time trying to explain a 30 to 50 pages where you can create a 5-page or 1-pager or a placemat and infographic of the same information? Guess what? When Canva, another product, came out, we were very excited because when you're dealing with uncertainty, traditional planning, rigid planning, you could probably go to Canva and pay somebody to try to put everything in there for you to kind of express your thoughts. Now with agentic AI, you can do that without knowing what the heck you're doing. The one thing I will tell you, you need to know your plan, and you need to know the end result of what you're trying to communicate. So to your point, Dr. Susie, the time is here. Getting stuck in planning should no longer be something we talk about. It should not.
Yes, it is. And just to pivot really quickly as well, I really don't want to hone in necessarily in our industry, project management office, because I think agentic AI can serve many purposes across different disciplines, correct? So when we look at how to properly set up, utilize, and implement agentic AI, the agents, if you will, I think that people will find that there's a lot of value in learning more about AI and utilization of AI and how it can actually help to make their lives a little bit easier, taking off some of those larger tasks. I'm really interested in maybe having a virtual assistant. And I know we kind of briefly chatted about that earlier. And it's like, well, how can I use this thing to take some of the load off of my plate? Like I'm hearing different, infomercials and, advertisements about how I use agentic AI, and I have my agent and she reads my email and, sends these things off and schedules appointments. And it's like, my God, I could use that like right now, today, like yesterday, right? So this is
Uh,
going to be. Mm-hmm.
as a matter of fact, I think we should have a demo in our next podcast where we can present again. We're not doing any advertisement for any product. Where we can create an agent to help you with your emails. What
Yes,
about that? Now,
I
let me
really
give
like
you
that.
Yeah, let me give you a real case scenario. My business every year, of course, December 31st, we close our books. So now we start looking at for taxes, right? And we're looking at balancing our sheets, P&L, and so forth. I created a CFO for my business.
Oh, wow.
I created a CFO agentic AI for my business. Now, here's the story. I went ahead and created this thing. It took me about a day. Throughout the day, probably 4 hours. Now, it didn't really take me 4 hours straight sitting and doing. So there's the experimentation. There's the thing I wanted to see
Hmm.
that I wanted to make sure, and also there's the private information that I didn't want this thing to have. Now, I have to warn people, you have to be careful with those tools. So here's what I did. I went ahead and I'm not going to name the tool, but I went in one of those tools that I just mentioned and I granted access to the whole root folder of my business because I wanted to have access to everything.
Okay.
And then what I did, I went ahead and pulled some of our documentation, and many of those documentation had some private information for the business that I did not want the tool to have. So what we did, I kind of segregated in one portion of my computer drive to put the thing of the business for operations, and then the other one, it's all of our contracts and all that. So that was not part of it. But we're
Hmm.
talking about the operations aspect of it. But there's some information in the operation line I did not want this thing to have. So I spent all this time removing all the information. And then I wrote the agent, and I did mention if you discover any type of information that falls within that list, you should not read it. However, what I did not know, although I created one folder for the agent to pull information in, the agent pulled information to the whole stinking drive. And I'm
Wow.
like, what the heck? I didn't give you access to all of this. So I had to go into the prompt to pretty much modify things, remove little icon, little arrows here, if this, that, so that I can clean it up. So
Hmm.
that is the good and the bad when you're dealing with those agents. So first, you have to create an ecosystem, or let's call it a workspace, to put
Hmm.
information for the agent to access. Limit the agent to that workspace, meaning outside of all your information. That way, you don't have leakage. That's number one. And
Okay.
also, number two, this thing is really good. I mean, this thing now is my CFO. The good news is I was happy to get it done. The bad news is he told me how bad my financial work. I mean, they were not that bad, but I was like, I thought I was doing good. I thought I was smart. And this thing is telling me, no, you didn't do this right. You didn't do this right. I'm working on a trademark, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
This
wow.
thing even helped me guide me through the whole trademark process, which,
Now I know, well, let me just interrupt there because I know you said you did one agent for the CFO role.
yes.
So now we're talking about a trademark role. So are these two different agents that you created? One to
Oh,
focus on finance and then the other one to focus more like on the legal aspect of things?
yes and no. So at the
Okay.
beginning, I created multiple agents. And then I said to myself, hold up, I'm having too many agents who, going through it there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to create a nested agent.
Mhm.
So my CFO agent is in charge of my analytics agent, is in charge of my legal agent, is in charge of my virtual assistant agent. So my CFO agent have access to all those mini agents that I've created. Pretty much I'm running an organization and agents. So
Okay.
you can do it either so three ways. You can do it. You can have one agent, one master agent. And I do not recommend the master agents because the information will get diluted. The prompt will get so long. That's
Okay.
number one. Number two, you can create multiple agents. Those are good because they are very focused, detailed. They will help you to do a certain task. The
Mhm.
challenge you have then, that agent is very specific. So it's, at least I have not known, I have not discovered how you take information from one agent to feed another agent. But
Okay.
the other way that I've done, I've tried it, it's like programming where I have nested agents. So the new thing I'm presenting to our audience today is what we call nested agents. So
Mhm.
you have one orchestrator agent that you have multiple agents underneath. So each agents do their own thing, and then they take that information, give it to the orchestrator agent.
Awesome. I'm seeing that this could easily transition into like some type of master class where we can put together. But aside from that, I think that it would be really great for us to bring the audience back maybe within the next week or so. And then we sit down and really walk them through step by step. And I'll be the guinea pig for that on how to create these agents. So PMLC will receive its first AI agent to really help us to begin to sort through some of the work and tasks that we have there. Now, my question is, can we put these agents on W-2s or 1099s? Or, I mean, how does that work? Like, they're...
I need to ask my legal agent. From my understanding, I do not think so because there are algorithms running for us. And I think the good news and the bad news, as much as we are casually talking about agents, some of those agents pretty much provide us information, right? So they don't have that autonomy for them to do anything. You
Mhm.
do have other agents where those are web-based applications. Those agents are very well sophisticated. They can read your email every morning and they can also reply to your emails waiting for you to
Mhm.
read and for you to press send. They can also go into your mailbox, remove everything that seems to be spam, that seems to be um, any type of random or frequent emails that you get that pretty much you have deleted. Those agents pretty much help you clean your mailbox. So there are so many different use cases, so many
Mhm.
different scenarios. In terms of, so that's the good news. The bad news to that is if, for instance, you happen to be very successful at creating a virtual assistant agent that can do the following. Such agent can read your email. Such agent can help you unclutter your desktop. Therefore, you no longer need to look for information. You can go to the agent and say, "Can you pull the folder that has everything to do with our finances?" It will just go ahead and pull it up, right? And if you had a human as a virtual assistant, that human virtual assistant, the amount of work that person would do for you now will diminish.
Mhm.
Now, once you master that agent and you understand exactly what you're looking for, if you're able to program the agent to do those work, that human assistant work is pretty much diluted or eliminated.
And I think, Dr. Jimmy, that's where we probably need to pause and have the heart to heart with the audience about why there's so much concern about agentic AI agents and other types of agents that we may create in different industries doing those job replacements of humans
Mhm.
versus the introduction of the AI agents and other forms of AI that may come in the future. I think it would be a good place for us to kind of explore that discussion here just a little bit to give a little bit of ease or to shed a little bit more light to our audience in terms of why this is something that we should embrace at this point. Because we're hearing words like my position may become a little bit diluted. It may be replacing me. They may eliminate the role across some of the different organizations. So, just what's your take on that?
I will say this: the reality is, individuals who understand how to use agentic AI, how to interact with the tool, as we said, AI will not replace your job. People who know how to use AI will replace your job.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's truth to both of those. It is not without um, substance that companies like Amazon and others have laid off a lot of folks and came back and said, "Oh no, it's not because of agency AI." So I do not know. I'm speculating. So nobody go and said that. I said Amazon laid people off because of agency AI, but
Right.
there is an underlying truth to it. I will say this much: when you're a solopreneur and you don't have the means to hire a lot of people, you don't have the means to hire people to do research for you, to provide you guidance on finances, on even prep you for legal work, not to represent you as a lawyer, but for you to prep you, to help you do the research. Agentic AI is going to be a good companion, a
Mm-hmm.
very great companion, because if you have a virtual assistant who has knowledge in using agentic AI, or we're going to general AI very soon, then you really set yourself up for success. Having said that, if you're an organization and you have built-in tools, you have a knowledge base, the roles of customer service, my fr- my friends who listen to me, those roles, many of those roles are going to diminish. They're going to be reduced because the will become very more sophisticated, smart, and they're going to use human language, part of the natural language processing (NLP) of artificial intelligence. People will not know that they are talking to agents. I created an agent once for my son after my son tore his ACL playing soccer, and I wrote an agent, and that agent had pretty much no autonomy whatsoever. I said, I need you to track my son's development. I need you to create an application for me. I need you to connect that to his Apple Watch so I can see his development, and so on and so forth. And the agent said all that. It said, can I order? Do you want me to order since my son plays soccer, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about those hydration salts for him to be hydrated. Can I order some of those for you? I say, yes, go for it. And this thing went on Amazon and placed the order. And I said, okay, for the celebration, when it's all in, we want to celebrate. Make sure you get this well. And the thing said, can I call the restaurant and please then make a reservation? I'm like, okay, let me test it out. Go ahead. And I wrote the script for it to do it. It
Mm-hmm.
called the restaurant, talked to a lady, and the lady thought she was talking to a human being
Wow.
and made a reservation for me. Now, this was, I was not going to do all in with it. However, if I have the time available, or if I pay an organization to write those agents for me, because
Mm-hmm.
those agents come very sophisticated. Everything I just told you, I could have those as a character where I converse with and can do those activities for me. Now, this is me not doing I don't do this for, that's not part of my day job. So I don't take the time to write codes to make those agents smart. I can get that thing done. And all it took me was 1 hour to do all of that I just told you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have individuals out there, programmers, data scientists, and they're very good, those agents, yes. And by the way, many of those agents already available in the marketplace. Again, I'm trying my best not to promote any particular tool because I have not tested many of those agents in depth, but you can go online and, as a matter of fact, you can go to one of those generative AI and communicate and ask for agents to help you out. It will give you some names. So heart to heart conversation, Dr. Susie,
Mm-hmm.
it would be naive to think in 2026, the world as we know it today will be the same.
This is true. This is very true. So let's shift the focus back into our industry within project management office now, and take a look at like where we stand and sit within the realm of technology itself. Specifically looking at AI and intelligent automation, how would we necessarily explain or talk to the audience about the shift, helping us to transition and make that shift from manual planning and reporting to more real-time execution, insight, and adaptation by utilization of agentic AI?
Here's where I see the true value. If the audience here, how many of you, seriously, how many of you, before you start a project, you went back into your lessons learned repository to look at your lessons learned? Raise your hand. I was once in a project. I spent 4 years managing that project. We did extensive lessons learned after each period of the project, according to our training. And we pretty much put a bow on that project successful after 4 years. So it was a huge program. For a huge program, it was about 12 projects. We completed it. Now we started another project that is very similar to that program. We started another program very similar to the previous program.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that we did was let's take like look at the lessons learned. At the time, the PMO construct at the time, so I don't name one particular person, refused to look at the lessons learned. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Mm.
Right? If you forget history, you are doomed to repeat it.
You're kidding, right?
So I see the value of agentic AI could be you could write a project management office manager, a PMO manager
Mm-hmm.
agent to help you plan for all your programs or your projects. Meaning, when you start a project or when you start a program, you want to know about lessons learned, have that agent connect with your database, and you can converse with the agent where you can mention, hey, I'm doing this new project, right? For instance, let's say I am going into, I'm trying to come up with something quick from the top of my head. Okay, you're doing, you know what? You're doing a transition project into a country that you don't know much about.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead online. As a matter of fact, you can ask the agent to emulate the knowledge of many of the top consulting firms in the world to provide you with their guidance and the instructions on how to plan that project. If you have access to some of those consulting firms where you can pretty much, I'm not sure if the agent can go through the paywall. However, in many instances, the knowledge that's available, the general public knowledge, the agent will have access to those, or you can put the links in there. So, let me give you one tool. The tool Perplexity is the one that I use. If you ask Perplexity a question, generative AI, it has the tendency to give you all the links from the information that you ask. And you can write a script and same tool, leveraging those references for you to write your agent. So
Mm-hmm.
right there, Dr. Suze, you have access, you have given these agents such knowledge, internal and external, to help you plan for a project you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Use case one. It can also help you plan a project based on successful projects you had in the past. Use case two or three. It can help you identify the errors you have done in the past so you do not make those errors going forward and identify those as risk for you to put in your risk register.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things can happen in one day, where in the past it would have taken anybody who wants to do this the right way at least a week, 2 weeks, even 3 weeks to put all that I just said together manually.
Now let's drill down one level deeper, specifically looking at the topic of agile and comparing that to agentic AI, and then just kind of hearing some of the background in terms of how we could implement agentic AI utilization even in agile practices. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, so far I have not yet known any methodologies that I would say safe from bringing into the artificial intelligence ecosystem. Agile in itself, when you have tools such as Smartsheets that
Mhm.
have agents enabled now, you have tools such as Jira that has agents enabled now.
Mhm.
Many of those tools, and by the way, I'm not talking about the standard generative AI that has the ability to create text, video, voice based on information you provide to it. My
Mhm.
friend, that was yesterday. Now we're talking about you communicating with a tool that
Mhm.
has the ability to research, deepen, create, analyze, synthesize, and not only that, retain the knowledge so you can have continuous conversation with it to guide you through this whole process. I mean, I have examples over examples over examples that I can provide to you.
And
Uh,
I would love to get into all those examples when we come back next week and do some of our demonstrations for our audience so that they can actually see some of those different frameworks and the stacks of examples that you have that actually kind of correlate with each one. Another thing I was just kind of sitting here thinking about is, when we think about AI and the utilization of AI, and you were saying that how people could be possibly behind. I was in this conference, if you will, earlier this week, and there was mention of AI and how we can use it in the government contracting space, right? So the mention was around if you're just now coming into like utilization of Chat GPT to help with some of the proposal writings and things like that, how you're already like 3 years behind because that was 3 years ago, right? So now we're just now kind of tiptoeing into this agentic AI. And now I'm hearing this nesting AI kind of thing going on. So it's like there are levels to this thing that I think people need to really begin to sit down and truly embrace and really begin to understand and maybe start at the beginning to really understand from start to finish, or at least until the point of where we are up to now, to really understand how AI can help to be an enhancement to the things that we're doing. So then we don't get left behind and kind of move ourselves ahead of the ball a little bit in this area. What are some suggestions that you would have for people that are trying to make that shift due to their limitations or uncertainty around AI and what AI can possibly do to help them in their roles, their current roles?
I would say start at the beginning. Start with what is. That would be the first thing I would say. Oftentimes, I would say take a class that will help you understand what artificial intelligence is. And I mentioned artificial intelligence because even prior to agentic AI, artificial intelligence such as robotic process automation that has the capability to sequence tasks and activities that you do on a continual basis. For instance, if you check your email every morning, you can pretty much turn quote unquote this robotic process automation on as you're doing your day work. If you turn it on for a full month, it will understand what you do over a full month, and then it will do the automation for you. So
Mhm.
these were already in existence before agentic AI. So I have a good understanding what artificial intelligence is because it's more than just agentic AI or generative AI.
Mhm.
Second, it will be, again, YouTube University exists. You have Udemy, you have Cloudera. There are a lot of free avenues or very inexpensive avenues. You can go to your library, and many libraries right now have one. Like our local library has an app called Libby that you can borrow um, books, that you can audiobooks that you can listen. So the knowledge component of it exists, is there. The caution I will tell someone: do not jump into those activities without the know how. And here's the reason: you do not want to become so dependent on those tools that you adventure yourself in areas that you do not know and then cause you trouble. One example, personal problem. I
Mhm.
was working on a trademark. It walked me through the trademark very well. Talk about, the trademark I was doing. There are several categories. I asked based on the answer, based on what I was doing, it provided me with the right answers. However, it did not really. So there's the thing that you ask it, that it doesn't do what you want. It does do what you ask of it. So what I wanted versus what I asked were two different things, and
Mhm.
that ended up costing me a lot of money. So hey, I'm being vulnerable out there, right? Hey, listen, lessons learned,
I
right?
know this is an example, but you're sounding like a typical project right now, in real life.
It cost me a lot of money. Why? Because I was entering into a field that I
Mhm.
did not have much knowledge about, and I trusted the AI, and I could not validate what the AI tool was giving to me.
Mhm.
Now, again, what he gave me was correct based on what I was asking, but because this field is not the field I'm familiar with, I could not really have the wisdom based on the information I was receiving. So I
Mhm.
would tell folks, be mindful, even though you create those agents, even though you can buy an agent, be mindful there is this notion of the human in the loop that is prevalent, that is required, that as of right now, I do not think you can remove from the equation. Because
Mhm.
if you do, you may cause some very costly mistakes that you will hit yourself in the head.
It's actually like one of those terms my grandmother used to use all the time: garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you're not taking time to properly structure the prompt, give it meaningful use and messaging, then you're going to get the result of that, and it may not be necessarily what you're looking for. I'm excited for what we're going to do on next Saturday, January 17th, at 7 p.m., and sharing this information inside of the demonstration that we're going to do for our audience, to actually walk through the steps, to demonstrate how to set up an agentic AI agent. And I will be the guinea pig, I guess, for this exercise, that we're going to do. And I'm excited to learn more, to see it in action, to really grow and develop into it myself, a little bit more. So, Dr. Jimmy, we thank you for taking time to show us and walk us through, that demonstration in advance for next week. Any last words that you want to share with our audience today before we close?
Yeah, I will tell our audience, listen up. This is 20, we're looking at 2026. This is not the time for you to be on the sideline. I will tell you this much: the agentic AI, artificial intelligence, is creating such an uncertainty in our world. So remember, uncertainty is inevitable, but paralysis is optional. Do not sit on the sideline waiting to hear. Clear the pathway for your organization today and educate yourself. I have said this many, many times ago, and I
Mhm.
will repeat it again. Your professional development is not your organization's. Um,
Responsibility.
yes, exactly. Thank you. Your professional development is not your organization's responsibility. Thank you so much, Dr. Susie.
That
Uh,
is the corporate sermon of all sermons that I have been preaching for years. Your professional development, growth, the career ladder changes, all that stuff, that is not your organization's responsibility. That is
that's
your,
yours.
that's right. That's your responsibility. But go ahead.
So my thing will be, stop planning for the perfect tomorrow and start doing the work that delivers value today. And the way you do that is by increasing your knowledge base. The way you do that is by being relevant. And the way you do that is what I always mention to anywhere I go. What is the real value you bring to the table?
Absolutely. Shifting gears here, Dr. Jimmy, just to highlight some of the organizational leadership and keynote speaking events that you have coming up, as well as training, for the classes that you offer at Global Compass. What is going on in 2026 over at Global Compass? How are we doing over there?
Wow, we have a lot of us going there. So we have our team working plus our agents. So we are working on a portfolio of activities that we're going to present very, 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 very soon. In the meantime, we want to everybody know we have keynote presentation already scheduled. we are planning on scheduling some CBPMO certification, CAPMO certification, and Agile PMO certification. So if your organization has any needs for, or if your employees, your people, they have any of those needs, please reach out. In addition to that, we're going to be focusing a lot as well on executive coaching, one-on-one coaching, group coaching. Again, we're talking about leadership. That's our primary focus. Remember, I keep saying that we manage things, we lead people. Although we have all those agents that may become available, the fact of the matter is you cannot get anything done of value without people. Thus, we want to be available to you. Reach out. We can schedule some coaching sessions to really help you lead with passion and purpose.
That's right. So if you would like to get in touch with Dr. Jimmy, his contact information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can email him at jimmygodard@globalcompasshub.com. You can also follow him on LinkedIn as well as YouTube. On LinkedIn, you were looking for at Jimmy-Goddard, and on YouTube, it is at GC Hub Academy. Is the handle there for YouTube. And again, by email, jimmygoddard@globalcompasshub.com. As always, it is a pleasure to have you with us here. So I'm just going to throw up what we have going on at PMLC in terms of training. We are heavily focused on getting people in the seat for this last call chance for the PMP exam prep, offering them such an opportunity at a discounted rate for the current exam that is out there. So for the current exam that we have, we're going to be training that current exam up until March 31st of 2026. That will be the last date that you can actually register for class sessions with us for 2026 under the current exam. After that, the new exam materials will drop in April. So we're going to shift gears, and then we're going to start to focus in on the new content for the new exam that will drop in July of 2026. So let me repeat that. You can actually register with us up until March 31st to study for the current PMP exam prep certification. Once April 1st hits, the new exam content will be released from PMI. And then once that new exam content is released in July, the new exam will drop. So I'm encouraging people as much as possible, if you are aspiring to become a project management professional, now's the time. Get it while it's hot. That's what I'm going to say. For more information, if you would like to contact us at PMLC, you can do so at training@pmlearningcenter.com. You can email us there, or you can give us a call on the phone number scrolling across the screen. And that number is 858-333-5568. Or again, you can go to our website, www.pmlearningcenter.com to register. Or if you have inquiries, you can email us at training@pmlearningcenter.com. This is a special for the last time. Maybe not the last time. You'll probably hear me saying this for a minute. But for the last time tonight, this is what I'm going to say. This is a special that you do not want to miss. And you may have me as your instructor. And from what I heard, I'm a lot of fun to have. Check out my LinkedIn recommendations. You'll see them there. Many people have went on and dropped their recommendations on LinkedIn, so you can go out there and read all about those. But we do have a lot of fun in class. We do bind together to help each other study and prepare for the exam. So this is a safe environment that you will want to join in on our certification classes, not just for the PMP, but we also offer the CAPM as well as some other cool certification exam prep courses. So be sure to check us out, especially for the PMP exam prep. Dr. Jimmy, I am so excited for how we are going to be running this podcast for 2026 and all of the interesting topics that we have coming up. But what I'm most excited for is us coming back again next Saturday night on January 17th at 7 p.m., where yours truly, along with you, will be demonstrating how to create an agentic AI agent that is actually going to help in my business for Project Management Learning Center and act as my virtual assistant. So this is going to be interesting because I got stuff all over the place that he or she, I don't know what I'm gonna name it just yet, but they can come in and help me do a lot of stuff to stay on track, right? So this is gonna be so cool. And I really appreciate all that you've done in 2025, again, leading into the new year. So happy new year again to you, Dr. Jimmy, as well to our audience.
All right. Happy New Year. See you soon.
See you soon. We'll see you back next week.